methods are out there today. There's less than Safe, Disciplined, Agile, Rage, Nexus, a lot of these. There's a recent blog post I did, there's like 15 or 20 they were outlined in the version 1 State of Agile survey they did recently, which is usually a pretty good picture of what's happening in the industry. Also in that survey they showed that 86%, I believe it is, of teams are distributed in one way or another of Agile teams. So it's a really large number of teams. Even like your survey at the beginning here, a lot of teams are dealing with this right now. So how do you fit together the scaling and in a distributed team, how does that work? Let's see if I got the right version of this. Okay. So when you're scaling, right, you should use the frameworks what we call SHU. This is one of the video blogs that I do about Shu-Ha-Ri, although it came from Alistair Cockburn. You can find a lot of this in Agile. The idea of Shu-Ha-Ri is that in Shu, you basically, it comes from martial arts, you learn the basic rule, the foundation, which might be Safe, might be Less, might be Scrum, might be whatever it is that you use, but that is not the end of your journey. Then you go to Ha, which is where you start to adapt the rule and break the rule because you've had some experience, you know how to use it more, and you can adapt it to your context. And then Ri, you basically become the master and you trying to transcend the rule and you go from your own practice, right? And these scaling frameworks should be that for you. They should not be forevermore, I just do these 5 steps because the scaling framework says that. They should be basically Shu to give you an idea of where to start, but then you go beyond that and you go to Ha and you go to Ri and you start to evolve as you get more experience in using this stuff. So I want to give that aspect here. The frameworks should provide guidance to the organization, but you definitely need to evolve beyond simply, oh, I'm on this framework. And there are so many, quote, religious battles, I'll put it, of, oh, this framework, that framework. I don't think that's that important. I think it's a lot more important that you get what works for you now, and then you figure out how it's going to evolve for your particular environment. Okay, so obviously, as we said, there's lots of them. There is Less up here. This is Nexus. This is Disciplined Agile 2, I think. They incorporated DevOps a lot more here. This is Safe, which is just updated to a new version. This is Spotify. I think we have a speaker who's pretty experienced with this one actually coming up later in the day. I'm pretty interested to hear his talk. Okay, so you pick the one that works for you. I'm not going to be a proponent of any particular one, but these are some of the frameworks. Now, let's take a look at some of the, and I hope I have here, the virtues to consider. So as we look at it, right, we talk about keeping an open mind, respect to different models, avoiding bureaucracy. And the idea here is that you want to make sure, again, that you don't just get stuck on, I've got this model, and this model says this, therefore I do this. You have to think beyond that. And if you have experience as a practitioner, or if you don't, have other people on the team who've done this before, who've been through the distributed side, who've been through the scaling side, have them help to give some opinions as to, well, how should we do this, right? It shouldn't just be, well, the book says this on page 52. That's not enough to really get a good experience, right? We talk about self-organization and letting teams figure out how to do things. You were talking, by the way, about the product owner being the boss. I don't know, was the product owner actually the boss?
That's what I had.
Oh, yeah, you had it. Okay, so just a side note, if you're doing retrospectives, don't have the boss in the room every time.
No.
It's really a bad thing, right? Because everybody will only say what the boss wants to hear.
Not really. Having product owner as part of, I don't want to call the person as boss.
Okay.
Meaning, if we are doing retro, and if the retro needs to be 360, then we need to take input from the boss as well. Because in our case, product owner is quite involved with the product. And so getting feedback from the product owner is also important. And doing it in a silo doesn't help. So the team should hear what he or she has to say. That is one. Second, well, the product owner is sitting there. Sometimes the engagement between the offshore and the on-site team also plays a role. So if your offshore team is a vendor team, not your own team sitting there on the other location, it creates a different kind of a view. So in our case, it is a vendor team, and they think twice before saying anything, because they may take it from the angle that we are the vendor, and whatever we say may be taken in a different context as well. So that adds to the complexity also.
Yeah, I think those are very good points. The core being that, I think you call it the power distance or whatever it is. If you have somebody who in the hierarchy basically is the hiring, firing, grading, bonus person, boss, and this person may not be that, okay? But if you have that person, it will really take away any self-organization with your team, because they will simply do what that person says in terms of, oh, these are our responses, and you're not going to really get the responses you need to be effective. So going to that, I made some assumptions about your situation though. So, Okay, direct access to stakeholders, avoiding the middleman. We're going to see a scenario from a case study in a minute that is interesting about that. Cross-functional teams we talked about, and aligning transformational vision at different locations. Let's go on.